Easter celebration. We are so glad that you're joining us. My name is Allison, and I want to walk you through a few important things about today. We would love to know that you are celebrating with us. I want to encourage you to take a minute to fill out an online connection card. There is a link in this form that will help us know how we can pray for you and how we can help you take this next step. I want to encourage you to engage in our celebration by using the comment section. We may not be in person, but we can engage in our community together through the comments during our celebration. By joining us today, you have the opportunity to have an impact both locally and globally. In conversations we've had with our partners, we've learned that one of the biggest needs right now is food resources. Many of our friends locally and globally are without work right now, and this impacts their ability to have funds to purchase food. And today, you have the chance to help meet this need. All you need to do is comment on Facebook or on our web stream with a number of people celebrating with you in person, and Movement will make a $5 gift per person to benefit City Mission locally and Lifeline Christian Mission in Guatemala. Both of these organizations are on the front lines of meeting hunger-related needs during this time of crisis. We are going to give up to $5,000 as part of this, and it will be divided between these two organizations. At Movement, one of our values is we are generous. This is another way we are tangibly living out this value. Welcome to Movement's Easter celebration. We are so glad that you're joining us. My name is Allison, and I want to walk you through a few important things about today. We would love to know that you are celebrating with us. I want to encourage you to take a minute to fill out an online connection card. There is a link in the comment section you can follow or go to movementfinley.com/getconnected. We know that staying connected is important now more than ever. Filling out this form will help us know how we can pray for you and how we can help you take this next step. By using the comment section. We may not be in person, but we can engage in our community together through the comments during our celebration. By joining us today, you have the opportunity to have an impact both locally and globally. In conversations we've had with our partners, we've learned that one of the biggest needs right now is food resources. Many of our friends locally and globally are without work right now, and this impacts their ability to have funds to purchase food. And today, you have the chance to help meet this need. All you need to do is comment on Facebook or on our web stream with a number of people celebrating with you in person, and Movement will make a $5 gift per person to benefit City Mission locally and Lifeline Christian Mission in Guatemala. Both of these organizations are on the front lines of meeting hunger-related needs during this time of crisis. We are going to give up to $5,000 as part of this, and it will be divided between these two organizations. At Movement, one of our values is we are generous. This is another way we are tangibly living out this value. everyone. Welcome to Movement's Easter celebration. We are so glad that you're joining us. My name is Allison, and I want to walk you through a few important things about today. We would love to know that you are celebrating with us. I want to encourage you to take a minute to fill out an online connection card. There is a link in the comment section you can follow or go to movementfinley.com/getconnected. We know that staying connected is important now more than ever. Filling out this form will help us know how we can pray for you and how we can help you take this next step. By using the comments section. We may not be in person, but we can engage in our community together through the comments during our celebration. By joining us today, you have the opportunity to have an impact both locally and globally. In conversations we've had with our partners, we've learned that one of the biggest needs right now is food resources. Many of our friends locally and globally are without work right now, and this impacts their ability to have funds to purchase food. And today, you have the chance to help meet this need. All you need to do is comment on Facebook or on our web stream with a number of people celebrating with you in person. And Movement will make a $5 gift per person to benefit City Mission locally and Lifeline Christian Mission in Guatemala. Both of these organizations are on the front lines of meeting hunger-related needs during this time of crisis. We are going to give up to $5,000 as part of this, and it will be divided between these two organizations. At Movement, one of our values is we are generous. This is another way we are tangibly living out this value.
Well, hey, immediately following our live stream, we're having a awesome interactive experience sponsored by Kids on the Move, and there's all sorts of things that we're going to do as a part of that, including play some games. I want to encourage you to be there, but for now we're going to show you one of the games, but we're going to do it parking garage style. I brought Molly, my daughter, here to help me out, to demonstrate how this game works. Molly, say hello. What you need are some socks and a clothes basket, and Molly's going to roll these up like an Easter egg. Go for it, girl. Roll them in a ball, and then you're going to see, I know you can do it, I promise. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. There you go. It's going to look like an Easter egg. Show us your Easter egg. All right, and then the goal is to get these in a laundry basket as many as you can. Now, normally the laundry basket will be in your living room, but in this case, just a second, hold on with me. Basket is down at the bottom of the parking garage. So, Molly, you get an opportunity. Go ahead, drop that bad boy in there. Can you make it? Oh, I'll do it. Oh, man. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, let's go. We got a couple more here. Let's keep trying. Give me a couple more. Give me a couple more. White. I get white socks. These smell like these are your socks, aren't they? Ready? All right, ready? Oh, come on, baby. Oh, oh. All right, go for it. Oh. Well, you get the idea. Join us immediately following this live celebration at movementfinley.com/KOM-at-home. Happy Easter, everyone.
body on the cross, His blood poured out for us, the weight of every curse upon Him. One final breath He gave, as heaven looked away, the Son of God was laid in darkness. A battle in the grave, the war on death was waged, the power of hell forever broken. The ground began to shake, the stone was rolled away, His perfect love could not be overcome. Now death, where is your sting? Our resurrected King has rendered you defeated. Forever He is glorified. Forever He is lifted high. Forever He is risen. He is alive. He is alive. The ground began to shake, the stone was rolled away, His perfect love could not be overcome. Now death, where is your sting? Our resurrected King has rendered you defeated. Forever He is glorified. Forever He is lifted high. Forever He is risen. He is alive. He is alive. We sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah. The Lamb is overcome. We sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah. The Lamb is overcome. We sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah. The Lamb is overcome. We sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah.
Well, hey, let me just start by saying happy Easter to every single person joining us online. And if this is your first time connecting with us, we are thrilled that you've joined us to celebrate Easter. Now, I absolutely love Easter. It is such an exciting day, and yeah, I know we're in a season where there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of things to be excited about. I mean, anyone else feel like every day seems to just be Groundhog Day right now, right? I mean, yeah, I hear you. So there's not so much going on that's really all that exciting, and I've been trying to get our daughter Lucy excited about doing schoolwork at home, and that's proven to be, well, let's just say it's proven to be a little bit of a task. The other day I was trying to get her motivated to do some reading, and she's rolling around on the ground, standing on her head, and so I just tell her, I'm like, hey, look, you've got 30 seconds to pick up a book and start reading. And so she looks at me and she says this, what do you think, this is like prison or something? And yeah, that's what she said. And I didn't know whether to take offense to that or to agree with her or what. And so I just keep holding out hope that one day school will start back up. But I believe that there is never a better time to be excited about Easter than right now, here today. This is a time in our world more than any other time that I can remember where I can say with confidence that every single one of us here, there's at least an area of our lives that we could use a little bit of hope because, you know, because it's just chaotic and we're all walking through this season together and it's challenging to say the least. I mean, there are just all sorts of uncertainty and we're not even sure when or how things are going to work out. I mean, maybe for you, the uncertainty is financial uncertainty. Maybe it's health related or it's job related. Maybe it's school related, or maybe it has to do with relationships. Whatever it is for you, I believe all of us would say, I'm looking for some hope. And here's the great thing about hope. Even just the sound of the word is great, isn't it? I mean, hope carries with it this idea that the best is yet to come, that there are better days ahead. And when it really comes down to it, hope is really sort of a necessity. I mean, when you think about it, it's needed. We all need it. Now, think about the opposite of hope just for a minute. I mean, when I think of the opposite of hope, here's the word that I think of. It's hopeless. And that's not such a good word. That's not such a great place to be. And I'm sure most of us have found ourselves in a situation or a circumstance where you felt hopeless and perhaps you felt even helpless. That the anxiety just seems too overwhelming. The situation just, seems out of control. The diagnosis wasn't what you were hoping for. Your job situation is not what you hoped for. The relationship is not working out quite as you had hoped. I mean, have you ever been there? I mean, sure you have, right? Sure you have. I have as well. And it's a really tough spot to be in. The book of Proverbs actually speaks into this idea as well. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12, we read this. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And you see, when we don't have any options in front of us and it seems dark and it seems pretty hopeless, I mean, it's just a sickening feeling. It hurts down to the core of who we are. And so with that, thanks for joining us. Happy Easter. Enjoy the rest of your day. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Maybe a few Reese's peanut butter eggs will make you feel better and cheer you up. And I know it'd cheer me up, but really, I would love to just spend a couple minutes talking about hope. Now, when I say the word hope, I think most of us have some sort of definition or understanding, but let me go ahead and give you a very simple definition, and that's this, that the hope's an expectation. Hope's a desire for something to happen that hasn't happened yet, but the way things are tracking, I mean, there is hope. I mean, things could still work out, and hope gives us, something to look forward to. And so, come on, let's have some fun just for a minute. And I want you to drop a comment in the comment section. Participate with us. What is something that you're looking forward to after this season is over? I mean, what are you looking forward to doing? Let's have some fun with this. I know I'm looking forward to sending my kids away for a few days. I don't know where that's to. I don't have any clue. We'll figure that out later. I'm just looking forward to some time in peace and quiet. Anyways, here's what I've discovered is true for me. I would believe it to be true for you as well, and that is the distance or the time between I hope and I know can feel like an eternity, can it? As we first started to be introduced to this COVID-19 crisis and we were instructed to take some steps, I thought, oh, this isn't bad, 3 weeks, but then those 3 weeks have passed and everything's still just sort of up in the air, and now this time just seems like an eternity. I mean, the distance between I hope and I know can feel like an eternity. And it's such a critical and influential time for us. I mean, our attitude is impacted and our relationships are impacted, our health is impacted, and above all, our view of God is often impacted, even really shaped during these times. And here's why. Our view of God is really oftentimes tied to our circumstances. I mean, think about this. If our circumstances are good, then God is good, right? And if our circumstances are bad, then at the very least, God is not so good, but even more, God may not even exist or even care. But let me just encourage you in this. It's in those in-between times, in between I hope and I know, where God can really do the most life-changing work in us. And that's what Easter is really all about. It's about hope that is, really rising. And so as we celebrate Easter today, let's take a look at the time in between, because that's where many of us, I believe, really find ourselves in this moment right now. And it was true for the very first group of people that experienced Easter. I mean, they were close to Jesus and they had hope, but then on Friday, Jesus was crucified and all hope seemed lost. I mean, Saturday, hope seemed dead. Early on Friday, there may have been at least a possibility of hope, like maybe Jesus' life was going to be spared. But then by Friday evening, right, all hope was lost. And when Jesus died, their hope seemed to die as well. And the people that loved and followed Jesus, they were frightened and confused. They felt helpless, and they were hopeless. And I have to believe that these were the thoughts that were probably racing through their minds at that time. Like, God, where are you? I mean, are you really in control? Because it doesn't seem like you're in control. And Jesus, I thought you said that you were always going to be with us. I mean, you promised that you'd be with us. You said you would always be there, and now you're not. When Jesus died, their hope died as well. But then came Sunday, and Luke records it for us in chapter 24. Here's what we read. It says, on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took the spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. Now, it's important to understand why the women went to the tomb on that day. The women did not go to the tomb on Easter morning expecting to find it empty, right? I mean, they went to the tomb that Sunday morning expecting to find a dead body there. As we think about what's going on in this story, here's what we need to understand. In Luke 23, Jesus died on the cross at the very end of a Friday. So they took his body off the cross, but the Sabbath would have been Saturday, which was quickly approaching. And so Jewish law said you couldn't do any work at all on the Sabbath. So they were rushing to get Jesus' dead body out of the sun and out of the heat so that they could come back on Sunday. And this guy named Joseph of Arimathea is like, hey, I've got a tomb, I've got a burial plot that I've already purchased for myself, and so you can borrow this tomb and you can lay Jesus there. So this group of women, they go home and they get everything around so they can go back first thing on Sunday morning to prepare Jesus' body for burial. And the idea of him resurrecting, I mean, it wasn't even on the radar at this point. Here's what we read in verse 4. It says, while they were wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground, but the men said to them, why do you look for the living among the dead? Why are you here at this tomb looking for a dead man? Which is kind of an interesting question if you think about it. I mean, I would have been like, I don't know, it's a tomb, and maybe I thought that's where you'd find somebody that was dead, but that's, that's what I would do. And here's what these men say. They say this: he's not here, he's not here, he's risen. remember how he told you. Now, I don't want you to miss this word, remember. This wasn't brand new information to them. I mean, they had heard it before. And for many of us in listening today, the resurrection is information that we've heard before. And perhaps you just need to be reminded of the significance. Well, we read on, it says, remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee, the Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again. And then they remembered his words. I mean, isn't it true that sometimes we just have selective hearing and we hear the things we want to hear, and sometimes we have to be reminded because at the time we just don't want to hear, you know? I mean, all of us, I think, understand that. And when Jesus had told them information before, it's not really something they wanted to hear. I mean, delivered over to the hands of sinners, crucified. I mean, no one had time for talk like that. I mean, Jesus, we like what you're doing now. We love that you're healing people and turning water into wine and walking on water and feeding the multitude. So let's just forget about that other stuff. But then Friday comes, right? And they find themselves in a place they never imagined that they'd be in. And Saturday followed Friday, and on Saturday, not one person believed that Jesus would be alive. I mean, all hope was lost. And come on, we all have our own Saturdays, don't we? I mean, we're frightened, confused, anxious, helpless, hopeless. Financially, maybe it's Saturday. Your health, it's Saturday. Relationally, it's Saturday. And Saturday represents for us the day after the prayer just doesn't seem to be answered that we prayed, and things seem hopeless. And you find yourself thinking, I don't know if any new life can really rise from this circumstance. And perhaps today, in this moment, you need to hear the words that these women heard. Remember. We continue reading, and it says, when they came back from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to the others. And it was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. So the women come back and they share their experience with those closest to Jesus. And what happens next is so fascinating, because here's what we read. It says, but they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. Now these are the guys that are told the news. These guys that are told the news. I mean, they were with Jesus every step of the way. They saw the miracles he had performed. I mean, they had been given insider information that this was going to happen. And yet, when they initially hear the news, they're like, no way. Like, this is nonsense. Let me go ahead and just acknowledge something here, and that is that some of us might find ourselves in this place today, that believing somebody resurrected from the dead is a difficult thing to believe. And let me just say, you're not alone. I mean, even those closest to Jesus, they found it difficult to believe, but there was this one guy who was holding on to hope. And here's what we read in verse 12. It says, Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen laying by themselves, and he went away wondering to himself what had happened. Now, if you're not a church person or don't know a whole lot about the Bible, here's what you need to know about Peter. Peter was one of the people closest to Jesus, and he had messed up big time. In fact, the last week of Jesus' life was probably one of the worst weeks of Peter's life. He had argued with Jesus, and he had acted in anger towards other people. I mean, he actually physically hurt someone, and he had even denied knowing that he even knew who Jesus was, the person that he had followed for the last 3 years. And I can only imagine what Saturday was like for him. Like, you know, I imagine him thinking, I wish I could go back and change this. And I'm sure he was dealing with all kinds of guilt and all kinds of shame and regret, the what ifs, the if onlys, and then he hears the news, and for the first time in maybe like 48 hours, Peter gets this glimmer of hope. So let me just ask you a question. Is there anything that you're carrying around from your past that's just destroying you? Like, you wish you could change. You wish you could take it back, wish that you could do something differently. I mean, of course there is. There is for you and there is for me. And just like Peter, we carry around guilt and shame and regrets, the what ifs and the if onlys. And we all have some things in our past that we need to be released from. Maybe it's a divorce or a bad relationship or an addiction or maybe an arrest or hurtful words. Perhaps you lied or you got caught up in something and you gave up or you gave in, whatever that may be. And you know, it feels a lot like Saturday for you. I mean, you just feel hopeless. Here's what I want you to understand about Easter, is that this is a day about when life is at its darkest and at its most hopeless point. Because, I mean, think about it. You can't get much more hopeless than a dark tomb with a dead body in it. When life is there, we see this, that Jesus walks out of it and he gives us hope. And hope says to us, it's never too late. Hope says to us, your past doesn't define you. Hope says to us, life is bigger than your present circumstances. Hope says to us, you don't have to be controlled by your fear. And when all hope seems lost, the message of Easter is this: hope is here.
He's crowned with glory now. The Savior knelt to wash our feet. Now at his feet we bow.
The one who wore our sin and shame, now robed in majesty. The radiance of perfect love now shines for all to see. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ the King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. The fear who held us now gives way to him who is our peace. His final breath upon the cross is now alive in me. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ the King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Yeah. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. Yeah. He's resurrecting me. The tomb where soldiers watched in vain was borrowed for 3 days. His body there would not remain.
our God has robbed the grave. Our God has robbed the grave. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ the King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. Yeah, he's resurrecting me.
Just have a peace and a comfort about everything that's happening to us, and we know that's God. That's only God.
God is bringing me hope by reminding me that He has many amazing opportunities for me in the future, and all I have to do is trust.
One of the things God is bringing me hope in this difficult season is it's just being able to help people and being there for people when they're having either a difficult day or they're scared. A lot of people are really scared and they don't know how they're going to get through this, and just being there and being a calming effect. God's got this.
Communities are just really doing a fantastic job at just, finding ways to get through all of this, and it shows that God is here and God is working, God is moving, God is loving, and He's caring.
Just knowing that Jesus went through a very difficult season for our sake, and the fact that we are celebrating the sacrifice that He gave for us at this very time reminds me that this has already been handled.
Jesus has really changed my life. He's really changed my life through the people that He's put in my life. These people who reminded me that I'm worthy of love and I'm worthy of forgiveness, and I'm ready to take those next steps.
He continues to remind me that He's here, He's in control, He's answering prayers, and when He answers those, that continues to remind me that, hey, I'm still here, I'm still working.
Through others, God has given me hope and made me want to step up and be a light in some bleak times.
Big thing for me, and it's a personal thing, is just the faith that I'm putting in God. Just the time I'm getting to spend with my family on the weekends without cheerleading going on, without anything else going on that's taking up time, has been a true blessing, so that we can spend that quality time and really grow in who we are as a family under God.
He has really grown me, just grown me in my perspective. He has grown me in just who I place my all in. And I think before I placed a little bit in people, and now that He has shifted that, and He has grown me in placing my trust in just all I am in Him.
He's been working in my heart, keeping my family safe, happy, and healthy.
So God has just showed our family through this season that all we really needed was Him.
And one of the things that He's really done is He's been in the process of molding us and preparing us for how He wants to use us in the days to come, and we're ready.
Jesus has changed me by increasing my gratitude and helping me remember that even the littlest things come from Him.
Back in high school when I was 17, I was really just living for myself. I ended up getting real sick and a virus attacked my body, and I was paralyzed in the legs for about 4 days and in the ICU unit for a while. And after that, I really realized that God is the only way. He is who we need to live through, and that just really changed my life tremendously. And ever since then, He's been first in everything I do, and anything I say comes from Him.
Jesus has changed me through His grace, just seeing His grace work within me and making me want to offer that to other people and see grace through their situations and offer them grace, because that's what Jesus has given me.
It really becomes obvious during this time of uncertainty and fear. You know, I found peace in the ability to move my burdens to His shoulders and allow Him to take it. And it's given me the opportunity to open up and help others the way I wouldn't be able to if I was too worried about what's going on in my own life.
I think really over the past few weeks, what I've been reminded of is that my hope is in heaven and nothing else.
God is moving, and He is in this. He is always in it. He tells us He is, and we have to believe it. And we have no reason not to. And He moves like we don't even know through these times, and that's how He's given me hope.
Well, let me just ask you, what is your hope in? Because we all make a choice. And instead of placing your hope in something, you can place your hope in someone. I mean, you're putting your hope in something or someone right now, today, and maybe you're thinking, well, Eric, I'm not very religious, and I just want you to know, I didn't ask you if you're religious, I didn't ask you if you believed, I didn't ask you if you're a Christian, because you don't have to be a Christian to be in this category. You just have to be a human, really, because we're all either putting our hope in something or someone. Every single one of us is, and something could be anything, really. I mean, something is your bank account, something could be your job, something could be your health, and these things can be really good. I mean, these things can bring you, pleasure. You can find great joy in them. You might even be fulfilled for a while, but listen, I mean, they are not enough to carry the weight of your hope. And as some of us are experiencing right now in this season, all of those things have the potential to just be gone. And you might say, well, I'm not putting it in something, I'm putting my hope in someone. Let me just ask you this question. Is it the right someone? You see, I think for some of us, we maybe put our hope in our spouse. And some of you've done that. You married your hope, and then it crushed you because your spouse, as wonderful as they are, they were never designed to be your hope. They were designed to be your spouse. Some of you've placed your hope in your kids, and you crushed them under your expectations because your kids were supposed to provide this feeling or this thing for you, but they were never designed to be your hope. They were designed to be your kids. You see, if you've got to make sure, you've got to make sure that it's the right someone if you're going to put your hope in someone, and that someone has a name. His name is Jesus. And the reason why is because Jesus walked out of a grave and He defeated death. And the message of the gospel is that in a very tangible, personal way, Jesus died for us to pardon our sin, to restore our relationship with God. But Jesus, He didn't stay dead. He rose to life so that we can live. You see, here's what I don't want us to miss, and that is that same power that raised Jesus to life is available to you, and it's available to me, and it's ready to help us overcome whatever it is that we need to be resurrected from. Listen, the word hope is found 71 times in the New Testament. It's found once before the resurrection, and it's found 70 times after the resurrection. And I don't think this is a coincidence. I mean, I think what God's trying to say to us is this, that He's saying that all of our hope is found in the resurrection of Jesus. And that is why this is such a big day. That's why Easter is so important, because hope is here. And Jesus walked out of a grave so that one day you and I can walk out of our graves as well. And so here's what I'm feeling this morning. I think every single one of us here needs to hear something, and it's probably one of these four things, and you need to take a step in one of these four specific ways. For some of us, we need to receive hope. I mean, please understand, I'm not asking you to become religious or, I'm not asking you to make sure you never miss church again or anything like that. I mean, I'd love for you to connect in our community, but what I'm really asking you is this: who have you placed your hope in, and does that person, do they have the ability to fulfill it? Is that person Jesus? And if you've never done that, I want to give you an opportunity to do that, to say, Jesus, my hope is in you. For some of us, we need to remember hope. Just like the women who went to the tomb were told, remember. And maybe this morning, you just need to remember. I mean, we lose sight of the power of the resurrection. And here's what you need to know. Whatever you're facing, Jesus has already defeated it. For others of us, we need to remain in hope. Some of us, right now, even in this season, our faith is strong. But will you remain in hope? Remain strong knowing that challenges are still ahead. There'll still be trials. Your faith will still be put to the test. So would you remain in hope? And finally, for some of us, we need to relay hope. We need to hand off hope to someone who has a specific need in this season. We need to let someone know that hope is found in Jesus. I don't know about you, but I know I need to hear one of those. And I would love to know what truth you need to hear this morning as well. Would you just take a minute and in the comment section, just put, which of these do you need to hear? What step do you need to take? Because we want to pray for you in that. Wherever you are, though, let me just encourage you in this. The message of Easter is this: that hope is here. Let's pray. God, I just pray that this morning would be a time where we discover hope, that we would understand that our hope can be placed in Jesus, that he's enough. God, that when Jesus walked out of the grave, our failures, our past, our anxiety, our fears walked out with him. And so God, would we be raised to life? Would we be filled with hope and filled with just your peace and your presence, God, in this season? God, would we truly come to understand the significance of the resurrection, that hope is here, God. Thank you so much that we can celebrate this day. Thank you that even in the season we find ourselves in, we can celebrate together because of who Jesus is. God, for some of us, today's the day where we just, for the first time, just say, God, I want to put my hope in Jesus. And God, would you just help us to have the strength to do that? But God, whatever it is, whatever step we need to take, God, my prayer is that today would be a day of victory, because we know that victory is in Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
How great the chasm that lay between us, how high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. You're my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross has spoken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. With Jesus Christ, my living hope. And hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your very body began to breathe. Out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your very body began to breathe. And out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Jesus, yours is the victory. Yeah, and hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. God, you are my living hope.
Today, you got to hear just a few stories of people experience transformation through this community. We would love to be a part of your story too. We want to help you connect here at Movement. The connection card link is in the comment section and on the screen to help you connect. As I mentioned earlier in our time together, for everyone who comments during our celebration with a number of people celebrating with you in person, Movement will make a $5 gift per person to benefit the City Mission locally and Lifeline Christian Mission in Guatemala. You have a minute to do this. Both of these organizations are on the front lines of meeting hunger-related needs during this time of crisis. In addition, we want to offer an opportunity to contribute towards our ongoing mission to help people find and follow God. You can go to movementfinley.com/give to do that. Your generosity allows us to be generous in significant ways like we are doing today. We want to invite you to join us again next week as we kicked off a brand new series called I Doubt It. For many of us, the struggle is real. We have questions about faith, our circumstances, our future, and more. We are going to walk through the storms of our biggest doubts and questions together. This is a safe place to deal with your doubts. Don't forget, our Kids on the Move Easter Blast happening in just a moment. Once again, here's the website. Thank you for celebrating with us today, and happy Easter. We look forward to be able to be again in person soon. Movement, go and be the church.